Time to talk some puck with Wisconsin head coach Mike Eaves. Mike, you guys come off a weekend series against Michigan. Friday night loss, but a great effort in a Saturday tie. What do you take away from the weekend series against the number 6 Wolverines?
Well, we've played Michigan pretty tough. If you talk to Red, up there we lost 6-4 and 6-6 was a tie, and then we lost Friday night 4-1. We hadn't played in a couple of weeks. It took us a little while to get used to their pace, and then Saturday we played at a higher pace, did more good things, and competed very hard. And Red came off the bench and said, "We were lucky tonight. Your team was good." So we take away, even though we didn't get the W, we take away some good things. And right now, with where we're at and where we need to go, our focus is to play our best hockey by March and see if we can make some noise at the Big Ten tournament.
Obviously, Mike, so much has been made about Michigan's first line, understandably so. Comfort, Connor, and Mott have been terrific. But your first line guys have been really good this year as well, most notably Grant Bessie, Luke Cunnin. Where did that chemistry come from? What's impressed you most about the way that line is played?
Well, with Luke Cunnin playing the left wing and Cameron Hughes and Grant Bessie on the right side, almost from day one, especially with Cameron and Luke, there seemed to be a little chemistry. Luke is a first, he's a shoot first kind of guy, and Cameron is a shifty guy that likes to dish the puck, and I think Grant can be both. And when they're playing well, as they did Saturday night, they went toe to toe with the top line. What I think is the top line in the country, and they played very well against them, and had a night where I think they outchanced them and gave us a chance to be successful. So I think to answer your question concisely is the fact that I think they had chemistry right away.
You have Michigan State this weekend. Spartans have obviously been disappointed. They had high hopes at the beginning of the year. I know things haven't worked out so far in the regular season the way that they would like. How has the scouting report, your scouting report on Michigan State, changed at all from the beginning of the year?
I don't think it's changed from the beginning. I think, first of all, that their goaltender can steal games. He's one of the best at the college level. Secondly, they will absolutely block any shot that they can get their teeth on. And thirdly, they play hard. So we need to be prepared for that. If we're going to beat their young goaltender, we got to get a lot of pucks at the net. We got to try to get traffic in front of him so that he can't see the puck. And sometimes the traffic are his own guys, which makes us have to be at least aware of that. We got to make sure that we're in shooting lanes and can see a path to the net before we get the shot there. So there's a handful of things that we're going to have to do in order for us to give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Well, you brought up their goaltender and Jake Hildebrand. I'll bring up yours and Matt Jerusha, who has been absolutely terrific. A young guy comes in his first year replacing a mainstay in Joel Rumpel and has been an Iron Man for you between the pipes. What's been the best part of Matt's year?
I think when you watch Matt, I think you see an athleticism that's at a high level. He can make that dynamic save when he needs to. I think there's been an improvement in Matt's play in terms of closing some holes. There's been a few shots that he would like to have back, but working with Jeff Sanger, our goalie coach, he's gotten better. And the last thing that I know his teammates really appreciate is the way that Matt works every day in practice. And he's done a pretty nice job. I mean, if you think about it, coming to college his first year, starting goaltender, new social life, a new academic load, having to balance all these things, and I think he's done a pretty good job in that aspect.
Mike, you mentioned it earlier in the interview that you know your team needs to be playing its best when it heads to St. Paul for the 2016 Big Ten Tournament. That's your entry into the NCAA Tournament, is the automatic bid. How, if at all, does that change the mentality over the last month of the season when you know that's your one shot to keep playing?
We have, as a group, made the analogy of climbing Mount Everest, and it's a journey. And when you climb Mount Everest, for instance, you have to pay like something between $60,000 and $100,000 just for the right to climb it. There's no guarantees that you're going to get to the top. We would like to win a national championship. There's no guarantees that we're going to do that, but we want to give ourselves the best opportunity. So right now it is about, I think this young team is getting better every week that we go along the season. And if we can be playing our best at the end, we give ourselves that window of opportunity to do the things that we've talked about. And that's what we have to focus on right now, is getting better every weekend, so we're playing our best at the right time.
Mike, as the league as a whole continues to try to look for respect as a hockey conference against other conferences like the NCHC, like Hockey East, how important do you think it is this year, next couple of years, that the Big Ten becomes a multi-bid league for the NCAA tournament?
It's been thrown around to some degree, probably not to the degree that it needs. I think that another aspect of the Big Ten that's been tossed around out there is the fact of expansion. I think that would be something that would elevate us to a different level. I think the third thing is that we got to make sure that we do a good job against our non-conference so that we can get back up there in the RPI rankings. So those are three areas that have been tossed around. I think that are areas that will be looked at, and we'll see how things shake out.
Mike, I know you're well aware Barry Alvarez recently issued a statement saying that some of his comments were taken out of context in a board meeting where he said, quote, hockey is not going to make or break us. He was referring to budget, obviously not competitiveness. Is this simply too much being made out of something that's not really there?
You know, I saw the comments by Coach Alvarez, and I knew what he was talking about. Because it was a board meeting and they were dealing with numbers, I didn't think anything else other than he was referring to the budget. And I guess I can see if you didn't know the context in which it was said that you might have some other aspect to it, which other people did have. But because of recognizing where he was when he said it, I didn't give it a second thought, and then was given a heads up that Barry had actually sent out a response to that, and he just explained his statement, and it all makes a lot of sense now. So I think it was just a little bump in the road that he handled very well, and we move forward.
Lastly, Mike, there's always that battle between the old school hockey traditionalists who want things the way they've been to stay that way forever, and the new school hockey fan who maybe looks for a little bit more flash, and certainly the television dollars come into play there as well. Is there a happy medium where old school and new school can find each other, where the shootout can come together happily with guys like Eddie Shore and that old-time hockey?
Well, I was against the shootout for a long time, and then we started to do it a couple times in our building, and I looked around and the people were standing, and they were into it, and we are, to a degree, an entertainment business, and just seeing that excitement, I like what the NHL has done. They found that blend, that 3-on-3 is still hockey at a certain level. It's exciting for the fans, and then finally, if they have to, they go to the shootout, just so they have a winner loser. You don't walk out of the building not knowing any outcome at all. So I wouldn't be surprised, and I would be in favor personally of having our league, the Big Ten, take a look at the 3-on-3 as an interim, and then if there's no winner in that, then take a look at the shootout.
Interesting stuff. Great chat with Wisconsin head coach Mike Eaves. Mike, as always, great to catch up. Best of luck this weekend against Michigan State.
Thanks, Rick. All the best to you.